Welcome to my composting room. You see I just have different, mainly old trash cans that I've converted to composters because, it didn't cost me a dime. Right now I'm focusing on those two that you see, number 2 and number 3. Those are old 45-gallon trash cans I was using for rain barrels. You can see they were beat up, can't hold water anymore, so I converted them into compost bins. As you can see, I've actually drilled some 1-inch holes in there to aerate the pile. Here I'm checking the temperature. You see it's a little low. I like it to be a little over about 100 degrees. Then I flip number 3 into number 2. A couple of reasons. One, you see there's not a lot of green material, where I have plenty of green material in number 2. That allows the compost to be more effective with the cooking. The recipe is 2 parts green to 1 part brown. Green would be anything from a plant. Leaves, spent flowers. If you had a salad and you made a salad, and you had, for example, the core of the lettuce head, you can throw that in the compost pile. Anything that's biodegradable. The browns would be your tree leaves, sticks, your shredded cardboard, pizza boxes, cereal boxes, shredded mail that's not slick to the touch, paper bags. You use a napkin, you don't have any heavy chemicals. Same thing for paper towel. You use the paper towel to wipe down the counter. You can throw that in the composter, as long as it doesn't have bleach or something like that. You just keep adding that. You add water. You want about 60%. You want to add water as you go in layers. Then you come back in the air and you have compost. Now, the bacteria is going to take care of this, because they like high heat. This is why I'm wanting it to have it over 100 degrees. Now, all I'm doing is inspecting material, and you can see some of this material, like that, was a good example of not breaking down. Like here's another good example, and that's actually a glass clump. That will allow the pile to heat back up. I'm also adding air back in there, so the stuff can breathe. There was a big root ball that's good. You see how that branch is twisting there? It's not, but you see how that one is just wanting to pill? That's how I know the processes are working. This branch, when you have sticks in compost piles, they will get wet and they will break very easy without any resistance. But you already see how much I've flipped back in there, and it looks like I haven't even made a dent into that trash can. That's a good example of stuff not wanting to break down. So I'm separating it a bit, going through it, just making sure what's going on. Hopefully that will have better luck in there. And a lot of times with these type piles in this trash can, you fill it up, come back in a day or two, you see that where the thermostat is compared to where the pile level is a little bit different, because it's actually sunk down. Because the bacteria will basically shrink that pile. This is why these are my workhorses, because I can just keep adding to them. They feel like bottomless pits almost. Crabgrass, absolutely hate it in the compost pile. And you just see me just inspecting material. That was a good example of stuff not running breakdown. Now that's just some clay soil. I drew that in there because it's a natural activator. You can buy activators from big stores, but here's the thing: do I want to put in $10 in a jar of compost activator, or do I just go over to a bare spot where I have dirt, grab a shovelful and toss it in there? Well, let me think about that, especially when I'm trying to save money. And this is all waste that would have gone to the landfill anyway, that I'm converting into basically a low-grade fertilizer. Very low grade. That's completely free. So that's something to think about. Doesn't take a lot to get this going. Now, let's say if you don't have the spot to have a compost bin, you can buy like a Lumi, which is this a device that you can put the compost material in, and it's basically electronic, and it will convert it into as close as compost as it can in a much shorter time span. So don't be discouraged if you don't have any land. You can still compost if you want. But as a will, there's a way. But hopefully this gives you some inspiration. You see I'm getting close to the bottom now. But you see how there's a lot of materials that's not wanting to break down? Like that's a very good example again. I know I've been harping on about that. That's this because I cannot stress that enough. In order for it to break down properly, you need to have the right ingredients. Just like cooking, you can't cook spaghetti without the actual noodles. I thought I was getting close to the bottom, but it looks like I'm about a quarter of the way down. You see how the lower I'm getting, the more you can determine what it is. That's the sole reason why I'm flipping, because that will basically become my new core. And since we had a heavy rain, it may take a couple days for it to start picking, because it may have too much water. But you see I'm breaking that stick apart to enhance the surface area, which would speed up the decomposition, or the transition into compost. But you see how I'm barely 3/4 full in that trash can. It's the exact same trash can. You see how much I can squeeze into these. So that's why I actually do enjoy having these as composters. And when these get done composting, I just send it down the line. I send it down to the next bin, so forth and so on, so I just keep the process and go. I don't have to stop. Like now I'm getting close to the bottom. Do you see how more sticks I'm pulling up? I'm just trying to keep it nice and flat and even. The idea is I filled that one up. I have number 3 to start filling up. Then when it reaches a certain point, I can dump number 2 back into number 3. I rinse and repeat until that's filled, and hopefully, I come back next spring, that breaks down to full compost. Then I could just add that to my gardens, my flowers, whatever I need it to. That will actually help increase water retention of that soil. So now when I water, that water stays in that spot for longer. That saves me money in the water bill. Doesn't seem like much, but hey, $5 is $5. If I can save $5 a month, well, that's $60. What if I save $10? You see how it starts adding up. This may sound like I'm trying to preach environmentalism. Yes and no. I'm encouraging this as a way to help save money. If I can save you money, then my job's done at that point. But you see how that one just ripped apart? That's how I know that's getting ready. You see how easy that stock just fell apart? you actually see part of a tree shrub that I trimmed back, and it's been sitting at that bottom for, I don't even remember how long, but you see how it's not even breaking down? Well, I put that at the top. Now that will be exposed to the processes and speed up the processes. Again, all I'm doing is breaking those sticks down, increasing the surface area, making them smaller. You see, like that was a big clump of glass that wasn't even breaking down, or hadn't even started breaking down, excuse me. And again, this is costing me no money, because I don't have to buy the materials. It's coming straight from my house. Stuff that was going to go in the trash can anyway, that I'm pulling out of the trash can. There I had a piece of plastic in there, but here's a good example I was referring to. You see how this slices apart? That's how I know that it's getting ready. Instead of me fighting, having it break, you see how that branch, this band snaps, not even fighting me. But it still has green leaves on it. So if you're sitting on the fence wanting to start something like this, but you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, this is the number one way of getting through that. Because you don't have to use that type of drainer. You could use the trash can that you've seen me look at to the far left there. You get that for under $20 at Lowe's Depot. You just have to drill some more holes so you can get. So you don't want water pooling in there. Again, you don't want any water just to pull. That's bad. You want to allow air to penetrate in, so you have to drill some holes. But that's a good way if you're looking at a way to save some money and you do want to start a garden. This is a very good way of kicking it, or kick-starting the habit. You're taking your trash, using the law of matter conservation, turning that junk into compost and rejuvenating the soil that you're using. And it applies to anything that, for example, if you have a lemon tree, that would be good for the lemon because you're rejuvenating the soil. It gives it access to these atoms that it normally wouldn't have. Or tomato. Doesn't matter if it's a flower would benefit from as well. You see how much I'm getting I'm almost done with the material down there. You see how much I've stuffed in there. Yeah, I can't see the bottom yet, but I know because there's not much more I can go into. Oh wait, I think I can see the very bottom of the container. You see I'm taking a break here and just looking. You see how I just have a bunch of limbs, sticks in the other ones? That's just the first phase, because they take a lot longer to break down. And since I do have a beehive, those sticks are actually great. If I let them rot some more, those sticks would be great for smoking fuel. Again, I don't have to buy any fuel for the smoker. So it's a way for me just to conserve money and material. Not quite done, but you see I'm getting closer. So hopefully this has inspired you if you're on the fence about wanting to compost. or if you have questions, feel free to leave a comment. This is the easiest way that I've seen composting, or my experience, the easiest way I've actually gotten compost to work. So, hopefully this will encourage you. But in today's trouble that we're having financially across the board, this is a great incentive to start saving some money.